Porca with Tomás McCarthy on WLR.
With Hooper Dolan Insurances. For business insurance you can rely on. More info at hooperdolan.ie.
Welcome in to WLR's weekly GA show, Lorna Porca, brought to you by Hooper Dolan Insurances, the Mall, Waterford. Tomás McCarthy here till 7 o'clock. Well, it's back to the bread and butter of the County Senior Hurling Championship this weekend. Tony Ryan and Kieran O'Gorman will offer their predictions on the round 2 action, but we'll also hear from Lismore matchwinner Maurice Shanahan and Ballygunner boss Darragh O'Sullivan. After last week's abandoned game against Tipperary, the Waterford Camogie team will welcome Dublin to Welsh Park on Saturday afternoon. The thoughts of manager Donal O'Rourke and captain Niamh Brockett coming up. And later in the hour, RT commentator Martin Kiley on a potential hurling trilogy between Limerick and Tipperary. Well, after 11 weeks off, the County Senior Hurling Championship returns to the playing fields this weekend with 6 second-round matches. And here in our Plaza Studios in Dungarvan to give their expert opinions on all the action are Tony Ryan, a GA correspondent with the Dungarvan Observer, and former minor and under-21 selector with Waterford, Kieran O'Gorman. And Kieran will start with last night's match in Cappoquin. Lismore 121, Ballyduff Upper 15 points. Maurice Shanahan with 12 for Lismore. What impressed you most about that Lismore performance?
I suppose it was a real workman-like performance. It's always hard to win a local derby, but I suppose the most impressive thing was the start that they got. They kind of tore into it from the very beginning. I think they went 1-8 to no score up after about 10 minutes, and I suppose that was the winning of the game, because it was very hard to come back from that. But I thought that I was very impressed with the speed of their hurling there in the first 15-20 minutes. They have a lot of work put in. Great credit to Sider, Barney and Dan, and they have a good youthful side now, and I suppose it's only onwards and upwards, hopefully. Yeah,
their hurling looked very sharp, Kieran, especially their short game. Like Ballyduff brought back an extra man to deal with Morris at one stage, but Lismore looked very comfortable playing it out of the back.
Yeah, they played it out of the back once twice, and they played it around, and they kind of played it around the sweep, or for want of a better word maybe, but yeah, they dealt with it well. Maybe they struggled for 5 minutes with it. Ballyduff got 5 or 6 points on the trot there, but just before half time, then Lismore got another point or two, and they dealt with it well. Yeah, it was always nice to win in a local derby.
It is, and like, what about Maurice Shanahan, Kieran? Like, he just continues to produce for Lismore every day he goes out.
Yeah, he does. Like, he's with 10 years now, Tomás. He's been the best club hurler, I suppose, in Waterford with 10 years. Maybe that's a biased opinion, but I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. God, it's hard to argue with that. Tony, what caught your eye from Lismore's display there in Cappoquin last night?
I just thought it was a very good team effort, and they're developing nicely as a team. A few years ago they were in trouble and seeing great, but I think that's all behind them now. A few good young players coming through, and then last night they feel a bit out Ray Barry as well. If you throw Ray into the mix there. And I thought the game against LSL was the best club game I've seen in a long time, and Lismore were very much in contention. I don't think they deserved to lose by 6 points that day. I think it was 221 to 118, something like that. So I think they're a team that will go a distance this year in the championship. I think Ballyduff made a mistake from the very off last night. It was they won the toss and they decided to play against the wind. Going into a game like that when you're not favourites, which they weren't. Like, I think you need to take anything that's going. And I think the nearest they came to Lismore last night was maybe 5 or 6 points at any stage during the game.
Yeah, is it going to be another battle for survival for the Reds this year, Tony?
Well, they've 2 games played now, and they've no points, and I think Delisle are up next, so it will be. But they're very capable of surviving, and then with the system that's there at the moment, there's no one out of it. Like, they still have a chance of getting to a quarter final. But they're used to it now at this stage. Like, remember years ago, St. Saviour's in the football, they were always in the relegation battle, but they're a proud senior club, and they could maintain their status again this year. Yeah,
you can never write off the Reds. And Kieran, are you considering coming out of retirement when you see Dan Shanahan coming on there towards the end at 42?
I'd still have a few years in Dan Tomás. No, I'd stay where I am.
Well, it must be great to still have Dan around to set up in Lismore.
He is, he's a great influence around with the younger players. O'Sheen now has started his first year with seniors, and he's been saying that Dan has been brilliant to him. advising them and things like that, and he's very good. I've been up around the field when they're training, and he's very good. He's very, very encouraging to all the younger players and trying to develop them, and we're very lucky to have him.
Exactly. Tony, looking to the double header in Fairfield on Saturday, it's Clonea and Tallow with a 6 o'clock throw in, both sides looking for their first win of the campaign. Will Tallow's senior experience count for much here?
I say it would definitely. They're actually they're unbeaten in the league this year as well, you know, and they also have younger players coming through. They're in the semi-final of the league. I think they're grouped against either De La Salle or Passage. But Tommy Ryan will be a big man again now tomorrow night for that game. See, I think that Clonea they're in both. Like Rackhamk in the football and in the hurling. That's why, but they will see this game as a game that they probably can win. Both sides will see that. You know, I say Clonea, I think they might have a few away at the moment, as with most clubs. You know, but it'll be an interesting game. I suppose there'll be a renewed rivalry that they had back in the 80s. Clonea was a fairly strong senior club back there, you know. But and with Billy Power, and now James Power has come of age again, you know, and Willie Hassey is playing very well. So I'd say the experience at the end of the day will see Tallow come through.
And looking at the second game, Kieran, it's Rowan Moore versus 4 Mile Water, 7:30. The Sky Blues knocked 4 Mile out in the playoff round last year. Will the Ballymac men be looking for revenge here?
They're looking for, I know it's a revenge. They'll want 2 points to be driving on the championship. It's a tough game. Rowan Moore, very organised team, very hard team to play against. They play to a system, and they stick to it, and it's effective for them. It works for them. And there's some good hurlers scattered around the field. They have good young players coming through, the likes of Keane Wadding now as well. And like with Billy Nolan in goal, Billy put a ball into your eye from 90 yards here. Like if 4 Mile, they have to go man for man on the Rowan Moore puck out, because Billy will find the man anywhere for you. And with Gavin O'Brien, midfield centre forward, he can be a match winner on a day as well. And Brian Cook, very quick. Now, I'm not 100% sure if he's playing. I think there's a doubt about his injury. I'm not 100% sure on that. But he's very quick player, very capable player. And then on the 4 Mile Water side, sure, you have the obvious two, Jamie Byrne and Conor Gleeson. But they're more than just the two of them. They have Tom Byrne as well. They have Dylan Gyrey. All capable, lots of capable players. Tomás O'Gorman still playing. He like to get a score off him. You learn it. You know what I mean? So I think this could be probably the closest game of the weekend. And I'll sit in defence and I'll say it'll be a draw. Very good.
Tony, looking at Abbeyside, Mount Sion, that has a 7 o'clock throw-in at Welsh Park. What were your impressions of Abbeyside last weekend in that league match against Dungarvan?
Yeah, but they seem to be shocked at the moment. I think there was a last weekend, someone said they had only one of their 6 defenders that lined out in the county final. You know, I know there's three away in America. James Beresford is injured, you know. So they had a great year last year. The thing they must do this year is build on that, you know. But this will be a hard game, because Mount Sion had a huge win over Rowan Moore. I think it was totally unexpected. It was something like 3-17 to 14 points or something like that, you know. So and then the matches down below in Welsh Park as well. I say, like Abbeyside at their best, you'd expect them to come through, but it'll be interesting to see what team will line out. And also, will it be a team then that will affect? They won a junior match last night. They beat Rossney. Will they lose? And their championship contenders in that grade. I wonder, will they lose some of those players on match day? But will to be a tough game for Abbeyside, you know. But they'll if they win, then they'll have 2 wins, 4 points. To be in a good position.
Yeah, could we see the two county men going head to head? Conor Prunty versus Austin Gleeson.
Probably could, yeah. I mean, in last week's game they put Conor out midfield, you know. So I said Conor can play in any position, you know. So they will. Questioning about Austin again, like, you know, will he be up for the game, you know, and for the club, and they need him, you know. They have a very young team, but they need likes of himself and Stephen Roach, Martin F. O'Neill. They're the leaders they need on the day.
Exactly. Kieran, turning to Sunday in Welsh Park at 2, it's the meeting of last year's beaten semi-finalists De La Salle and Passage. Which team are best equipped of mounting a title challenge this time around?
I'd have to say De La Salle. Talking to Don Kelly yesterday, Passage are cursed with this J1 thing. I think they have 7 young fellas in America. Like, I don't know, I think something has to be done about it, because clubs are suffering, or else maybe it is the fixture situation. Like, there's matches this weekend and there's not matches again for 5 weeks. Like, I don't have a solution for it, but it's hard to blame young fellas not to go away, like, because they're hanging around there all, like, if Waterford is still in championship, that's fine. We all know that we can't play matches, and that's fine because we're all supporting the county team. But like, it's 5 weeks after this weekend before they're playing the hurling championship again. It's an awful long time to have fellas hanging around without a competitive game coming up, and it's hard to blame fellas from going away. But getting back to the question you asked me, I think De La Salle they're probably best equipped to mount a challenge to Ballygunner for the championship. I'd be giving them the thumbs up to beat Passage on Sunday.
And Tony, Ballygunner Dungarvan brings the second round to a close at 3:45. How are Dungarvan shaping up ahead of this match against County and Munster champions?
Well, they were against Tallow. I think they got the rub of the green. Really, you know, Tommy Ryan could have won the game for Tallow, you know, with points from freezing that, you know. But they've prepared well for it and all that, you know. But you're up against the Munster champions, you know. Even if there's a number of them missing, you know, they still should have the reserves from their title winning teams back in minor and under 21 and that, you know. So they're going to go for 6 in a row. I mean, that's amazing, really, you know. And they have a win behind them already, so there's no doubt about it. But they should continue in this. Like, who's going to beat them? I agree with Kieran. I think that De La Salle are probably best equipped to give them a game for us, you know, at this stage anyway. But I say, but Dungarvan will be looking for it as a performance now, because like what happened last year against Passage just isn't good enough, like, you know, and that's there. That's still in the gut, you know. So they have to come out on Sunday and show maybe what their true potential is. Yeah. And give the Gunners a good game for it. Yeah,
will Patrick Curran be available for the Blues, Tony?
He will actually. Yeah, he was out of action there last week. He had a touch of the hamstring and all that, you know. But I'd expect him to line out on on Sunday, and we need him, and we need Patrick Curran at his best as well, like, you know, for the Dungarvan team to do well in the senior.
And Kieran, just a final one for yourself. Looking at Ballygunner, they're missing both David and Ryan O'Sullivan. Philip Mahoney is injured for now, but expect him to be back come the knockout stages. Could they be vulnerable without those couple of leaders?
Yeah, I think they could. And Ian Kenny's away as well. Michael Mahoney is away. You know, like there's 5 players from their county final win or Munster final winning team not playing on Sunday. And no matter how many resources you have, like, there's 5 fellas playing that wouldn't be playing if they were there. So it's bound to weaken your team some bit. So, like, I'd actually give Dungarvan a squeak on Sunday. If Dungarvan can play to the best of their abilities, as Tony said, like, Patrick Curran at his very best is nearly unmarkable. Kieran Power is playing fantastic stuff. I saw him there in the league game when Lismore played. He was centre back. He was outstanding. They have good hurlers scattered around the field. I wouldn't be too shocked if Dungarvan caught Ballygunner on Sunday.
Very interesting. We'll leave it at that. Thanks a million to both Kieran and Tony for dropping in at the studio today, and enjoy the matches over the weekend.
Thanks, Tomas.
Lorne na Porca with Tomas McCarthy on WLR.
With Hooper Dolan Insurances. For business insurance you can rely on. More info at hooperdolan.ie.
Well, there's 4 pairs of passes up for grabs to a game of your choice in the County Senior Hurling Championship over the weekend. Just text us the answer to this question. Who was named man of the match in the 2018 county final between Ballygunner and Abbeyside? So text your answer and name to 083 333 975. That's the man of the match in last year's county final between Ballygunner and Abbeyside. The competition closes at midnight, and Gavin Whelan will reveal the winners on Saturdays on the ball. Well, we'll hear shortly from Ballygunner manager Darragh O'Sullivan, head of Sunday's duel with Dungarvan. But firstly, here's Lismore's Maurice Shanahan after last night's win over Ballyduff Upper.
We're absolutely thrilled. We came over here to Cappoquin tonight to play Ballyduff. It's a local derby, and we knew we were going to get tough. But to be fair to the lads in Lismore, they trained well when we were away with Waterford. They trained hard, and you can see that tonight. I think we won 1-8 to no score up there in the first 15 minutes. But fairness to Ballyduff, they came back at us. But look, it's just the determination of our team tonight. We drove forward and we got the result we badly needed.
It's been encouraging to see the form of the younger players like Severe Daly and Oisin O'Gorman as well in the forward line, performing really well tonight. Yeah,
it's brilliant, you know. Them lads they're fantastic hurlers, and Oisin and Erle Daly and Micheál Fitzgerald, David Pinder, they're all young lads. Like, we're a young team, and the oldest on the team, so that says something, you know. We're a young team, and we love our hurling in Lismore, and we just want to just improve every day we go out.
You must have been really happy with your work rate as well. You've gotten the faces of Ballyduff right from the start.
Yeah, Tomas, you know, especially with me, I'm a big club man like every other county player around, but when I go back to my club I give it everything I have, because only for my club I wouldn't be anywhere, only for them, and especially when I come back I need to drive it on, because we're the experienced players, probably myself, Paddy Pinder, Jack Pinder, all them lads, John, we're the experienced players on this team, and I think we drove it on tonight.
Were you glad to kind of get back in with the club scene so soon after the inter-county finished up, because it was a pretty tough season for you, Maurice?
Yeah, it was. Waterford, the year with Waterford went disappointing to Tomas, everyone knows that, but it's great to go back to your club. They're always there for you. When you win they're there, and when you lose they're there, and them lads, I owe a lot to them lads, and it was great to go back. I actually went back the day after the Cork game. We trained on the Sunday morning, I was up there with him, and it was great to be back with him, and we can see that tonight. We're trying to pull together, and I think we've done that tonight.
Was it one of the toughest years you put down with Waterford, Maurice?
Definitely was. Things didn't go our way. I think the players are definitely there. When you look at the Waterford team, players are definitely there tomorrow. So I don't know what the future holds for us, but we'll worry about the club for the next few months, and hopefully we get good days out with Lismore.
Must be good to see Dan coming on as well. He started back in '93 and he's still going in 2019, Maurice.
He's still going there, Tomas. He's still trying to get one more medal, I say. But look, we're thinking about passes now again. It's probably another 4 weeks, I think. So we'll enjoy today. We'll enjoy tonight. We'll have a few drinks together, because that has to be done too. And we go back training again Sunday morning, so we'll drive it on.
Lorna Porca with Tomás McCarthy on WLR.
With Hooper Dolan Insurances. For business insurance you can rely on. More info at hooperdolan.ie.
So I'm joined on the line now by Ballygunner boss Darragh O'Sullivan, head of round 2 of the County Senior Hurling Championship. And Darragh, it's 11 weeks since you played at Clonea in round 1 at Welsh Park. How have you managed that long gap?
It's been difficult enough, Tomas, to be honest with you. We had our own challenges coming into that match because we had the lads long back in with us, but we've had a good run of it, with the lads. It's been difficult to get the lads together, obviously. Like we've so many lads involved with the seniors, and we'd actually 3 lads with the footballers this year and with the Waterford under 20s. It's very, very difficult to try and pull them all together. Like we would not have played any match now with a full deck. Since that Clonea game. So that'll tell you how difficult it is to prepare.
Well, would you prefer the kind of a clear run at the club season? Darragh, I was talking to Fergal Hartley back in February. He was kind of suggesting a split between inter-county and the club season. Would you see merit in that?
I would, but it's a very, very difficult one, Tomas. There's so many stakeholders in it. You have the elite player, obviously the inter-county player, and then you have the club player, and the foundation of the GA is based on the club player. But you must also understand that all the revenue is being generated by the inter-county player, and without that revenue being generated, we wouldn't have facilities in all the clubs in length and breadth of the country. So it's a very, very difficult one, and people might think there's a simple solution to it, but I don't think there is. There's a lot of thought we need to go into it, but certainly something needs to happen. What? I'm not quite sure. But it is difficult, yes, definitely is difficult,
Yeah, would it probably require the inter-county championship shrinking somewhat, Darragh, to accommodate more time for the club player? Well,
yes, but then you say, and the powers that be will turn around to you and say that, look, and it's not all about revenues either. You know what I mean? But if the inter-county teams play less matches, there's going to be less revenue. There's going to be less revenue, there's going to be less money, filtering back down to the clubs. And the great thing about the GAA is that the majority of the money is filtered back down to the clubs, so it's not a straightforward one now, Tomas,
No, it's very, very tricky. And Darragh, looking ahead to Sunday now against Dungarvan, will you be missing many players for this game?
Listen, we have a few lads that are travelling and that, and we would have a few injuries as well, but we're not 100% sure exactly on the injury front how many we will be down, we would have had rehab programs the lads would have done over the last number of weeks. We're still hopeful that some of those may be available for us on Sunday,
Is there any possibility that Philip Mahoney will be available for the latter stages of the championship? Obviously, he picked up that serious leg injury on inter-county duty.
Yeah, listen, look, Tomas, when Philip went down that day, sure, we were thinking the worst, to be honest with you, you know what I mean? And the feedback initially after the match was the possibility that it could have been the shoot, Obviously it wasn't. Philip's initially his rehab wasn't going that well, but over the last 3 to 4 weeks, Philip's rehab has gone very, very well. You know what I mean? And he's continually working hard. He was away last week, and it would have went well from when he was away and that as well. So he's definitely making serious ground.
So you're kind of keeping your fingers crossed that he'll be available come the knockout stages, perhaps.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't think there's any doubt that Philip will be available. You know what I mean? There may be a case that Philip might be available this weekend coming. Right,
very good. That's very good to hear. And you've become very familiar with Dungarvan in recent years. Darragh, will this game determine who tops the group?
Listen, Dungarvan are going well. I think you look at the result against Nabbyside the other night, 117 to 7 points. Which was an impressive victory for them. In the league and that. So, listen, we're under no illusions. The task that's going to be put in front of us on Sunday.